everyone and welcome to my booktube channel. My name is Sarah and today I'm going to be doing a review of 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. This review is going to be totally spoiler free, so if you haven't read this book yet, I highly suggest you do, but you will be completely safe from spoilers. 13 Reasons Why is about a young boy by the name of Clay who receives a box of mixtapes in the mail. This ordinarily wouldn't be so strange, except the mixtapes were recorded by a girl named Hannah Baker who has recently committed suicide. Each mixtape is about a certain person in her life that had a hand in her decision to commit suicide, but Clay is not sure where in the story he fits in, and so all that's left to do is for him to listen to them. Right from the start, I was intrigued by this book because of its premise. I've never read anything like this before. Immediately, we're thrown into the plot with minimal introduction to the main character in the hopes that everything will just sort of unfold nicely the further that we get into the story. I felt no great love for Clay at the beginning, but I immediately felt a connection to Hannah. She's witty and strong-voiced, and you feel so much for her so soon. Knowing that these tapes and the stories that she's telling through them will only lead to the point where she commits suicide makes you really hold on to every single word that she says, makes you cling tighter to her story, just like Clay. As for Clay, I was a bit distrustful towards him at first just because I felt like he might be an unreliable narrator who had caused Hannah some intentional harm, but he didn't. He just loved her, and he wasn't brave enough to really tell her, and he wasn't brave enough to fight for her when she pushed him away. It was so heartbreaking to know the way Hannah's story ends, but then watching the past unfold before you, you see their connection, you see their friendship in the way it slowly develops into more. I kept wishing they had gotten more time together. I kept wishing one of them had held on a little tighter to each other. One of the things I really loved about this book was the way that it was told. We get Clay's perspective as he is reacting to the tapes, but we also get Hannah's perspective as she tells her story. This way we get to watch things unfold from two different times and places, and we see the resulting impacts. Hannah's voice is so sharp and witty and full of heaviness. Clay's is much more subdued and melancholy. While I did like Clay well enough, I still felt this deeper connection to Hannah, and I really loved her. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it, its subject matter and the way it was told, but also the way that it makes you think. There are so many things that have led to Hannah's suicide. Some of them are obvious, but a lot of them are not. She was hoping that someone would see through her and see her inner struggle, but they didn't. Which leaves us to look at the smaller signals that the people around us are sending. This calls us to pay closer attention to the people that we love. In the back of my paperback copy, there are these 13 questions with the author, Jay Asher, and one of them is, do you feel you were trying to put across a certain message with this book? There was a specific message he was trying to send through this book. Basically, even though Hannah admits that the decision to take her life was entirely her own, it's also important to be aware of how we treat others. And basically what he wants us to take away from this book is that the things that we say and do to each other matter, and you may not see the effect that it's having on the person next to you, but it is having an effect. We live in a highly digitalized age, and so over social media it can be a little bit harder to understand the full impact that you're having with your words, but our every word does have an impact and we need to be more mindful of that. So yes, I love this book. It crushed my soul and it made me feel a lot of things and it made me think about a lot of things, and I think that's a very important thing for a book to do. If you're going to read a book, it should make you feel something. This one most certainly did. So that is it for my review of 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. I hope you guys enjoyed. You should let me know down below if you have read this book and what you thought of it, or if you're planning on reading this one. If you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're new here. I post new videos twice a week. If you guys would like to follow me on Twitter or any of my social medias, I will leave the links to those in the description box below, as always. But most of all, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye!